Dark Satellite Media.
Cool. Hello. Welcome to episode number 50 of the Red River podcast.
What up?
Yeah. This is it. This is a big celebration.
The confetti's coming down later.
Yeah. I don't know. How did we end up here at my place?
Well, we took, January pretty much off.
Yeah.
And,
so did If I Rule the World, which is funny. I
don't know.
Subconsciously, we're like linked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, a little break or whatever. And then trying to put together the guest is an ongoing situation. And
he's a very busy guest.
Busy man.
Yeah.
But we're going to get him in next week. We got a couple of things booked next week, but we just basically wanted to get a show, keep sharpen the swords.
We wanted him to give him time to get over the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely.
So exactly it. Like, I figured let's just sit here and go through a couple of things because it's been a while. Parker had a kid, so he is breastfeeding somewhere right now.
Yeah, Sarah had the kid.
Oh.
Okay,
Sarah had the kid. Parker's breastfeeding.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder how that's going.
Yeah, so he's busy, obviously, but he'll be jumping in here and there. But yeah, we just wanted to...
we need his sound bites. We need him to do like pre-recorded...
drops.
Like 5 like Parkerisms.
Yeah.
Great nudity. What else?
PM.
Good fucking movie.
Yeah, but... fans been clamoring for another episode, and we don't want to disappoint.
Yeah, we don't.
Everybody's my fucking DMs blowing up.
We don't want to disappoint Davey
People
Bright.
Slow down. That's it.
That's it, right? I don't really know anyone. No one else is bothering me.
No one's bothering.
The Instagram's a ghost town.
We got to keep it fresh, though.
Yeah. So here we are in February, a very mild February. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, we've been doing a couple of things in the group. Talking about films of the 1990s. We were just getting into something with debut albums. We had a brief discussion on that, all because of Black Sabbath. Today is the 50th anniversary of Black Sabbath's debut.
Yes.
And we were talking about best debuts and, some other stuff we've been watching.
Was that basically the birth of heavy metal?
I mean, I think as we know it, with like a dark element, like you could look to, I think, Cream,
yes,
musically, or Blue Cheer for some, or Iron Butterfly for like a heavier sound.
Yeah.
But as far as the dark satanic element mixed in with that,
the imagery was basically on point.
The whole package,
the fingers being cut off. I'm just going on what Ron Grimaldi says, and if he says it's the first. Yeah. Heavy record, then he's the oracle of metal.
Yeah.
So anything he says, I had a funny conversation with him yesterday. He randomly sends me a message, and he's like, "Oh, you would find this interesting." Mm-hmm. And then he's like, "My cousin directed Leprechaun in the Hood." I was just like, "You are never." He's so full of surprises. Like when he tells his cousin is Ghostmane, and now I'm like, "You're telling me your fucking cousin directed Leprechaun in the Hood, which is arguably the most ridiculous one I mean, the outer space one is
I think I've only seen the first one.
I think I've only.
I didn't venture past that.
Yeah, I've only seen bits and pieces,
Yeah.
but it's just so funny. Like of all the ones, so Ice-T's in that one, and then I looked at his IMDb, his cousin, which is I forget his name, and he also directed. Do you remember Bloody Murder?
No.
So it was like this Friday the 13th knockoff that came out probably like 2000, and then. So he directed the sequel, which is Bloody Murder 2, and on it is this guy with a hockey mask. Like,
wow.
Yeah, but instead of like an axe or a machete,
it's a goalie mask instead of a...
he has a hook. So I was just like looking at him, and I told Ron, I was like, listen, I'm like, if you ever talk to your cousin who lives in LA, and you, I don't know, maybe ask him if he ever wants to like get on the phone and waste like an hour of his life.
Sure.
You know,
We'll
like
be that.
I think so. Like it would be interesting because he grew up in Brentwood here, and then he moved to, you know, LA and started doing his, he does TV work now. His wife does too. I think he even directed Witchcraft.
Oh yeah? Is that the one with Tony Katane? No, that was
with
Ford or something.
Yes, I think that was something different. Okay. Yeah,
great nudity in that one.
Yes, but you see now that would have been the Parker drop.
I came in for him.
I know. Yeah. We really need that though, because they would have been like, great fucking order.
We get like a Fred Norris soundboard.
Like a pedal board we could just step on.
No doubt.
But I think it would be really fun to get him. We were also talking about like future episodes. I guess we're going to talk to my buddy Doug Zambone from Jersey. He's in a band called the Van Saders. They're awesome. I guess if you're listening, you'll hear more about them.
Yeah.
As time goes on, really, really good band from Jersey. And then I talked to Neil Rubenstein, who's been on the show, John Cox, who's been on the show, and they wanted to do a Star Wars kind of like maybe like a Red River Presents type thing. Right. So when I was like, okay, good idea. And then I remembered my bass player, Dave, and his friend, Steve, our friend, Steve, really. They're humongous Star Wars dorks.
Right.
So the four of them would make such a great conversation that that's kind of how I looked at it. Yeah. Like we could just kind of like sit in and maybe do whatever. Because like,
you and I think, I'm speaking for you, but like, I like watching Star Wars movies, but I'm not like about that life.
I grew out of that life.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't fuck with those prequels at all. The ones I grew up on, I liked. And I've been taking my son to these new ones and enjoying it and stuff.
Me too.
But like, I don't understand it on the level that some other dudes do. So I would hang back. I'm like the casual. We represent like the casual.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go see Star Wars.
In that thing, because, and I blame the prequels. I've said it before. The prequels really, so I was like 21 watching the first prequel, and I think it just set me on a course where it's like I was either going to go full back into it, or I just watched.
They were doo-doo.
So bad.
Like, irredeemable. Like, nothing good about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was like eating broccoli. Like I knew, like I was already there. It was on my plate, and it's like, okay, I know, I know I already started this dinner, so I have to eat this fucking shitty part of the plate, Yeah. And that's how I looked at it. So, like, I was almost angry by the time Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith came out, because I knew that I had a responsibility to watch them. Yeah. I couldn't let it go.
I've enjoyed these ones, though.
I love them.
They got, they move along, and I the true fans will have their own thing about it and stuff like that. But as like the layman, I'm like, yeah, they're a good movie, But that would make for a good Red River Presents something.
Because
in the future.
Yeah, if you're like super into something, like like me watching the Rob Zombie Halloween remakes, it just it affects my core. Like I'm like, this is ridiculous. I don't like. I have so many stupid things about that movie, so I guess that's how these guys look at it. So
yeah,
I'm like, why interject my casual opinion in there? Let these four guys who are really like, they're talking about like just subplots that I don't even know.
Yeah, but that'll be a good one. That would be a good one.
What did you? So I know the last episode we did our favorite movies of the year.
Right.
I think the day that we actually did the episode, we taped it. Star Wars came out, right?
Around then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
Brian had seen it right at the time.
No,
of taping.
he wanted to see it because we taped on
And
Friday.
Okay, yeah. I know. I was going to see it that weekend with my son.
Yeah. So what'd you think?
I don't even fucking remember right now. You're asking me. I mean, I think we had a good time.
Yeah.
But if you ask me like what happened, I don't even fucking remember.
What did your son think?
He's not like all about Star Wars or anything, but we don't go to the movies that often. He's not big into the Marvel shit or whatever. But when something like that's going on, something to do, we buy a ticket, we go, we enjoy it.
What is his shit?
He's into like video games. He's into.
Oh, so you don't even fuck with movies? Not like fried green tomatoes or some shit?
No, like it's the funny thing is like he'll be playing a game or whatever, and I watch movies all the time. I know it's rubbing off on him because he's got his headphones on and shit, but he's like, what did they just say about blah, blah, blah? I'm like, oh, you listening.
Yeah.
You're listening.
What'd they just say about Kaiser Soze?
Yeah, so, I don't know. He's a youngin', but, yeah, so we go to the movies. We enjoy it. Popcorn flick.
Yeah.
Had a good time, but, like, I don't remember. I don't even remember it didn't stick with me, like.
It stuck with me.
Yeah?
I loved it.
Okay.
So, because we made our list, right around then, and I watched 3 movies after the fact. Star Wars would not have made my top 10 because I just don't have to me it's like I watched it, it was fun, it was like an action movie. You watch it and there's like 100%. Lasers and like it's really entertaining, but it's not going to make like my top 10. It'll definitely 20.
No, a sci-fi movie like that isn't going to like affect me the way it affects some people. I'm not a huge sci-fi guy to begin with. It's got to hit a real certain note for me to stick with me. It did on one level because I'm going to be 42 in a couple of days, and I'm watching these characters kind of spoiler alert, like just like die. Yeah. Not even in the movie, in real life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So you do have this closing the chapter attachment. I connect with that, where it's just like, okay, the closing of this, it's the 9th movie of this saga.
Right.
So I don't know, I was in. I was just in. I watched it and I thought it was fun. It was people fighting, new characters, and it was just the same story with different characters.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But then I did get a chance to watch 2 other movies that definitely would have made my top 5 of the year. One of them was Uncut Gems. You watched that?
Not yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Not yet.
You like Good Time, though?
Loved it.
Yeah.
I loved everything.
The Safdie brothers did.
The other one I rave about.
Heaven Knows
What or something like that. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
I even saw their other I think it was called Daddy Longlegs.
Yeah.
I've gone and watched anything about them.
What did you think about Daddy Longlegs?
It's okay.
The trailer looked like nothing I want to see.
Yeah, it's not the greatest, but for I think their debut, you can see the promise of how good these guys, what a handle they had on things.
Yeah.
And then Heaven Knows What. I hope I'm getting that right. I always want to say Heaven Can Wait because it's a goddamn Maiden song. But anyway, that was a whole nother level. So I'm down with those guys.
Okay.
I just haven't seen the flick yet. Yeah.
Man, well, let me give you a non-spoiler review of it.
Please.
It might be better than Good Time. It would have been probably my number 1 movie of the year.
Wow.
Past Brightburn that I had up there, Harpoon, everything that I saw this year, nothing beat Uncut Gems because it felt like the movie Mother, where you're just like, from beginning to end, it's just this, it's anxiety.
Yeah.
You're watching it, and these guys know how to create like a pressure cooker.
Sure. And
you hear that pressure cooker for like 2.5 hours until it just explodes.
Right.
In the most normal of ways, like, like somebody trying to get in a door. They just create these normal circumstances, but they like, it's almost like on steroids. Their casting on this is amazing. Really ugly New York guys that look like I mean, they look like they just went to like the subway and they're like, you, and you, come with me. You know?
Yeah.
What's his face? Adam Sandler fucking killed it.
Yeah.
Really killed it. And so it's funny when a movie that I love so much is so polarizing, because when I went to go see it, there was like an older couple next to me, and their son had bought them, I guess, movie tickets, and I guess that's what they decided to go see. And after the movie, they were just like, wow. They were like, that movie was terrible. Because they're like, it was a movie with screaming for 2.5 hours. I guess we know what to expect. Mm-hmm. But some people that went in thinking like, okay, this is an Adam Sandler movie and it's going to go this certain way, and then
they wanted Grown Ups 3.
I don't know what they were thinking, but they just see the name attached to it, and they were just like, you know, our buddy Matt Roran from the Cinema Arts Center said that they were getting so many complaints about the movie,
really,
from like older people being like, I can't believe you would show a movie like this.
Oh my
here.
God.
And they're just like, this is like an assault on my senses for 2 hours. And Matt was like, well, that's what the movie is.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I want to see it. Just haven't got to it.
Yes. And then the other movie that I saw that would have made my top 5 is Knives Out.
I haven't seen that yet either.
Yeah.
But I heard great things.
Yeah, Rian Johnson, who wrote The Last Jedi.
Right.
Made this movie. Really good whodunit. Great cast. Don Johnson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Daniel Craig, bunch of people in this movie, and it's just a murder mystery. Mm-hmm. And the whole time you're just like peeling away at the story, and done very well, like completely like Clue. Right. You know. So yeah, that would have cracked my top 5. I guess that's it as far as like the movies that I saw.
The Oscars just happened.
Oh, the Oscars. Speaking of that,
and which I haven't seen everything. Some things I have no interest in seeing. I used to try to make a real effort to see everything. Till it got like the past couple of years, I'm like, God, some of these movies are fucking horrible for me. Yeah. I just like, this is not my cup of tea. So I will not be sitting to watch Little Women anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? But I did watch Parasite.
Okay,
and that was the winner.
Yes,
first foreign film to ever win Best Picture.
I didn't even know that, right? Really?
Yeah, I think so. We'll get our fact check team on that.
His name is Bong Ho.
Yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah, that's a great name.
He's actually got a couple of good movies in his past and stuff like that. But this is, you know, the greatest thing I ever seen? No, but it was very original. Had a great sub story about the haves and have-nots in society, and
I didn't watch it.
Told in a very clever way, and moves along, and definitely the most original of a pick for a best film that the Oscars have. A lot of times they just follow, like, you know, they're gonna pick that historical drama. Or,
yeah.
You could just
like
see it
1917 or some shit.
Yeah, and you know, it's cool they picked that movie, and I would recommend it.
I'm waiting for the dubbed version.
The dub? No, you don't do that, do you?
I mean, I would.
No, you gotta have the original actor's inflection on that shit.
I'm trying to watch the movie, but then I have to read.
You can do that.
I know, but it's just like, it's almost like you're looking at titties on the screen.
Damn, man, you can't even read subtitles. I know about the books, but shit, son, what the fuck.
You know what? I need to watch it on Facebook and clips.
You only read Facebook statuses. I get it. Well, maybe they can figure out a way to do that. But I would recommend it. But as far as newer stuff, that's what I had seen. But what I've been watching a lot of is a lot of episodic true crime. There's like a boom of it, I feel like.
Yes.
Where I love these 3-episode or 4-episode. I've watched. And it got a lot of people talking about it, the Don't Fuck with Cats, which I know you told me to watch right away, and I did.
Yes. Did you? Okay, so this one, I didn't really know what it was, but I was sitting at home, and I was like, Don't Fuck with Cats, and then I remember people were talking about it, but I didn't read what they were saying.
Yeah. So
I put it on, and I realized it was 3 episodes, and I'm like, okay, and as it goes on and goes on, that lady giving the intro, I was like, holy shit. I'm like, are they gonna do what I think? Is this guy gonna do to these kittens what I think he's gonna do?
Yeah.
And it really kind of like shook me a little bit. Like I got very it hit my anxiety.
Sure.
Hit me because
Terrific.
I'm watching someone do something that I can't stop.
Yeah.
So it jolted me.
I couldn't look. I had to look away a lot, and I don't like when you talk all the time about like the horror nerd group or something like that. I mean, like this movie wasn't even scary or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, how old are you?
Yeah,
like,
how old are you?
That's
for
what,
sure.
like horror is like a Tom and Jerry cartoon to me.
Yeah.
And with these shows that I'm watching, and something like this, like that is the horrific. That's horror to me. Like horror isn't even horror to me. But like, and I couldn't even like look away when I knew what was all right. I know what's going on here, and I know they didn't show the nitty gritty, but they'd show right up to it, kind of like that.
Yeah,
because they can't. I mean,
and for sure, and you. I mean, that was almost enough. Because
it was enough.
Mentally, you know what's happening.
Yeah. And
you you want to stop this person from doing this. So really what got me invested within the first 5 minutes was it was so horrific that I'm like, I need to watch all three immediately just to make sure that this fucking
justice
guy
is done.
Done.
Right.
I want him fucking dead.
Yeah.
Right? So by the time I got to the second episode, I guess, where he kills someone. I remember that video. I remember the ice pick video.
Yeah. I knew about that, dude. I didn't even know about the cat thing, but
neither
I knew
did
about
I.
his
I knew
murder.
Yes.
From some kind of serial. I don't know.
I thought it was fake.
Some weird thing I read about or something, or maybe Crystal had sent because she was into all the serial killer stuff. But I knew about that case, and then when it all tied in, I'm like, is that motherfucker?
Yep. I had no idea. So I'm watching that video of him stabbing somebody with the ice pick, and I was like, holy shit. I didn't know, like you, I didn't know what led up to it. And I remember watching that video thinking, like, I don't know what's going on because there was no sound. It was just the music. Yeah. And I remember, like, the New Order or whatever the fuck it was. And just watching this video and thinking, like, I don't know if it's real or not, but it was just kind of, like, jarring. Yeah. And I was like, I never want to watch this again.
No.
And then like, the reveal, like at the end, obviously, have you seen it?
Yeah, we can't get into specifics because there's a lot of people that haven't seen it, and I've had to convince them too because like they thought the same thing. Like, oh, I can't watch this cat, and I was like, I'm like, if there's some cat shit, I can't fuck with it.
Yeah.
They don't show you everything. You can look away like I did for like the couple of seconds you need to.
Yeah.
But it doesn't drone on about that.
No.
Like it moves along, and it's very worth a watch.
Yeah.
Man.
Once you get past that first episode 2 and 3 or more, like it's funny because you see like the harm done to like humans, and you're just like, that's fine.
Yeah, all right.
But the animal thing,
no.
Especially like
because of their innocence.
Yeah. You know
humans are fucked up already.
Yeah, like that guy at least had a chance to fight or something.
Not that I'm saying that was okay. But,
yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I don't want to get canceled.
Yeah, no.
50th episode. You know what I mean? But yeah, I watched that. I enjoyed that. I highly recommend it. There was a great Aaron Hernandez one that was on Netflix as well, a football player that killed a few people that I didn't realize.
Me neither. I thought he killed one.
I thought he killed one, and I used to love football growing up. I haven't given a fuck about football in a long time now. I just can't get interested in it anymore. It's something when I was younger. Now I just don't have time for it. But anyway, I didn't know. I knew a little bit about the story, but I wasn't following it. But that goes into a lot of crazy places as well. And
well, your assessment of it on Facebook, I felt like on the group, I really felt what you said, because after watching it, it was one of those things where it's like, well, look how he grew up. How wasn't he going to kill people? And I was just like,
yeah,
he kind of seemed like a jock douche.
Yeah. He come up out of Bristol, Connecticut, which ain't the hood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he didn't have all these, I mean, you get some more information about him, like about how his dad and his sexuality and stuff like that. And
the guy claiming that he was blowing him, which was weird.
Yeah,
I mean,
next to his dad, but
his dad, yeah.
But that's a whole nother story. But like
his dad,
so there's a lot of issues about his behavior, but then also the concussions and things like that, and how bad his brain was, and there's a lot involved in it. Besides, it goes a lot of interesting places, but a lot I didn't know about that case. And
I love the dad sitting next to like his ex teammate that was claiming that he was blowing Aaron or whatever the fuck they were doing. Yeah. Like, dad was trying to be so understanding. Like, he looked like he was sitting there. He's like, yeah. He's like, my son sucks dicks and gets fucked in the ass. And it's like, like he was just like sitting there, like trying to be so understanding.
Trying too hard.
Yeah, he was trying so hard. And I'm thinking like,
I guess that's a good job.
A part of it is like a sweet thing. And then the other part, you're just like, holy shit, guy. Like, yeah, it's okay. Like,
my son blew a Super Bowl MVP. Did yours?
Yeah, totally. Like, you're not asking your daughter,
He was a Patriot.
Yeah, like, it's like, you're not.
He didn't blow one of the Buccaneers.
Yeah. He didn't blow Cleveland Brown. But yeah, like, at some point, you're just like, oh, yeah, this is just weird. Like, you're trying to accept it, and I get it, but like, you wouldn't be asking any one of your kids, like your daughter. It's like, hey,
trying.
My daughter fucked 10 dudes on the team, Yeah, he was trying for sure.
Son, you want to ride to the club tonight?
Yeah.
Go find you a nice fella. Come on, buddy.
Yeah. Oh my god! But by the time I got to the end, and listen, I don't know Aaron, but it just it painted this like really. It just put him in a bad light. Even the phone calls, the phone calls that he was making throughout the whole, was it like 3 episodes, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You just, I don't know. He just seemed like such a child, a meathead child.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing really, nothing to him. Although it
could have been because his brain was like a pile of raviolis in there at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like they said it was like the worst. When he donate or whatever they did, when they looked into it to study it, like he had like the worst case of it that they've ever seen at that age or something, so
which is crazy.
Yeah. So who knows what factored into everything. The last one I was going to discuss, I mean, there's a multitude out there, but I think I got to catch episode 2, which just came out. But the McDonald's
loving
on
it.
HBO, which I saw
Make
the
millions.
first episode and hooked. I can't wait.
I saw the second. I noticed that I guess Mark Wahlberg is attached to it too.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Which his team did a really good job. Like you could see from, I guess McMillions is about. Somebody was just kind of hustling McDonald's with the
Monopoly game. I was all about that game.
Me too. Yeah. I'm like, wow, meat and fries, and I turn it over. I'm like, I got Park Place or whatever the fuck's going on.
I got another free fry.
Yeah. But like,
that's all I got.
So yeah, it's an interesting thing. I guess like, they're showing that somewhere along the way. I'm not going to ruin it. Yeah. I mean, I've only seen 2 episodes, obviously.
No, these shows, this style of show, I'm loving it. I love they present this story, this crime, this caper, and then peel away.
Yes.
Reveal it
Yeah.
over the course of a couple, and it's usually truth is stranger than fiction,
Yeah.
So it's captivating to me. It's I love it. They can't make enough of these.
I find myself even like recently really like if you put on a movie and it's kind of boring or hard to follow, like The Lighthouse or something.
Oh, I'll get there.
It's hard to basically like what I tried watching just recently thanks to Shudder, which I fucking can't say enough about the $5 a month that I spend on Shudder. I never saw the original Prom Night, 1980. It's fucking boring.
Yeah. It's like there's like a half-hour dance. It's like a Dance Fever, like disco fucking shit.
It's
at the end.
Very boring.
It's horrible. Part 2, way better.
Way better. Mary Lou.
Hello,
Mary Lou. Prom Night too. I remember that. But so it's on there. I'm like, every now and then. You know what? I'll get to it. But so Shudder will put on some classics, and sometimes you miss these movies, or maybe I saw Prom Night. I just don't remember. And boy, was it a chore to fucking watch. Yeah. I'm sitting. I tried to do it over like 2 or 3 nights, and I'm like, I need to finish this movie, and I never did.
Yeah.
But going back to the true crime thing, what happens is you're so invested in these stories, like, you know, Dateline or 2020. They're telling these stories and you're just glued. You don't want to miss a detail.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like you said, truth is stranger than fiction. And sometimes you're like, do I want to try to watch a movie that might not get my interest within the first 30 or 40 minutes, or do I want to sit and watch fucking McMillions?
Yeah.
And the way they peel that story is a lot of fun, man. It's a good time. Netflix, fucking Amazon, Hulu, all these fucking every story that happened that you're like the Lorena Bobbitt shit, like all these things are now just being told because enough time has passed. I
just watched a great one about Who Killed Malcolm X that Netflix rolled out. That's I believe a 7-parter or an 8-parter maybe, but a lot of stuff I didn't know about that whole, like how that went down and who might have been behind the scenes.
Oh really? Yeah, I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Before, like, you make a documentary and you got to sell it to like, I don't know, ABC or like just something. Now it's like, I feel like all these streaming services need so much content that you know, there's so many avenues now. I feel like what ABC and NBC and CBS were, or now it's almost like, okay, now it's Amazon, Hulu, Netflix, and HBO.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's who's really takes chances and tries something interesting, you know what I mean? Like, are those networks. You know, when's the last time fucking ABC or networks, meaning Amazon or whatever, a network TV show?
Who's really? Somebody's watching CSI Miami though.
Oh my god, I can't even like
who
attempt to like watch some shit like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Somebody is though.
There's a lot of people. Yeah, but you know, that whole thing, like when growing up and network TV was like something big that I know they pay better and stuff like that to their talent, but cable becoming like, you know, an entity in my lifetime as a user and stuff like that. Comedy Central, Channel 4, no different to me.
Yeah.
What are you putting on?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what, you know what I mean? What's good, you know what I mean? Like, there's no difference to me.
And it was like less fragmented too. That's why those shows were getting like 100 million viewers.
Right.
Because it was like, okay, I either watch Matlock or fucking like, you know, whatever else. Now it's like, you know, it's so niche. Like everything is like, oh, okay, like there's a show where people are naked in the wilderness. I'll take that. Naked and Afraid. Perfect.
Yeah.
You ever watch that show?
I have not. My father-in-law watches it.
Yo, it's fucking ridiculous. I watch it because sometimes I get swept up in it. And it's ridiculous because you're thinking like you're probably not even getting that much money. You're going somewhere for 21 days. You got to kill your own food. You have like mosquito bites on your fucking like dick and pussy lips. You know what I'm saying? Like braving this fucking like it's either super cold or super hot. You're trying to sleep like on a leaf and shit.
Never.
Right?
Would I even consider it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
You know?
But the point is like there's something there for everyone,
for everybody.
You know, I've been watching TLC. There's a show called 1,000 Pound Sisters.
The title makes me laugh.
Well, because TLC has like the most.
They're each 1,000 pounds at a combined weight.
So they're combined. So one's 608
at a combined weight.
So one weighs 608 and the other one's like, you know, 4 and change. But the girl who's 608 is so fucking fat that her head is fat. So her forehead has a belly. Like her forehead has a belly. And I'm watching this shit going like, I felt bad because it's like.
Like give a shade in the bright sun.
I'm
like,
just thinking
like. Over, like
it's 608 pounds. Like you didn't get to 508 and think to yourself, maybe I should stop here. Like you just like.
At that point, I think you're just like, you know, who cares anymore?
Who cares?
It has to be.
Yeah.
But when like there's no raw room for the fat to go, so it went to your forehead. It went to
her forehead. Like if you're listening to this, Google 1,000 Pound Sisters, and you know it just her forehead has a belly. It's fucking.
Does the one who's like 4 and change think she's hot shit because she's like 200 pounds less?
Yes. So the show is basically them getting to a certain amount of weight to get their stomach stapled. But the TLC is bananas. They have that show. They have Dr. Pimple Popper.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole show is just like these weird like abscess pimple thingies over people's body, and she pops them. And then the other show they have is My Feet Are Killing Me, which you could imagine what it's about. I don't know, they're just cornering the market on like grotesque TV.
I like how it can only be referred. No one ever says the Learning Channel anymore. It's just TLC.
Yeah,
it's like where they started and where they ended.
Yeah, nah. It's completely different.
That shit used to be like Penguin documentaries when it rolled out.
But yeah, it's just bananas.
A lot to watch.
Yo, so you saw The Lighthouse?
I did.
I know we both hate The Witch.
The Witch was awful.
Yeah.
Lighthouse, well, you know what? I can't say it's worse, but same director.
What made you want to watch it?
I'm an idiot, man.
Who knew you had so much free time?
No, I'm a William Dafoe fan.
Yeah.
And I heard, the guy made The Witch that I didn't like, but that's not enough for me to throw the baby out with the bathwater or whatever. That movie might not just been for me. His second movie might be fucking the bomb. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and it looked cool because I don't watch trailers a lot. I kind of could just see if I want to watch something because trailers give away too much of shit for me anymore. So I don't watch them.
I watch like the first minute of a trailer.
Yeah. If I hear a lot of chatter about something, I'm curious, then I'll watch it. So I got it on DVD from the library. Shout out. And it started off okay. They got this old salty dog way of talking, like, sea folk or whatever. And William Dafoe is chewing it up. And I could listen to him talk like that because I love Dafoe. And then eventually, it's just not really going anywhere for me. Shot beautifully. No question about the cinematography. I got no qualms with that. Looks cool, but it goes fucking nowhere. It's fucking paint dry to me.
That's what I heard. So I heard this is what I was told when it came out, and this is when I knew I didn't want to see it.
Right.
They're like, this movie makes The Witch look like Die Hard. I was just like,
that's great. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah,
like I'll pass. Like,
yeah, it's now I would I will not see a movie from this dude if he makes it again, unless everybody I know that I trust is like, yo, you know what? He really turned it out on this one. Gotcha. I'm like, all right, third try. But, it just, and listen, I went to film school for a while and we did all avant-garde shit like there. Stan Brakhage, Kenneth Anger, we watched all the French New Wave and Godard, and we watched all the Italian films, and I've been through there. I'm not an ignoramus, all right?
For sure.
So I will analyze.
You read
shit.
books.
I can read, but
it ain't me.
But at a certain point, some of these art house films, and there's a definite boom in art house horror, I feel like. I find that some people fall over themselves to analyze and get things where there is nothing going on. Like where where it's so open for interpretation that it could mean anything. And they just it gets so pretentious to find meaning in these different parts. And I'm not down to put in that much fucking work for it. I like a certain level of mystery to it, a little bit. I know a lot of people didn't like Hereditary.
Sure.
I felt it was fine, kind of in the art house vein because of the way it looked, but it moved the story along for me. Midsommar was my favorite movie last year. That's just the level that I can handle. This guy's shit with The Witch and The Lighthouse is some other level, pretentious bullshit that I don't want in my horror flicks. So there's a line there for me. Midsommar, I can get with. This shit, no, not so much.
I'm finding myself liking Ari Aster, his work, way more than Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
It's going to be way more my thing, because even I liked Hereditary till the end, but even till then, I'm like, this is a gorgeous film. really just filled with dread. I just didn't care for that payment or whatever the fuck the shit was. But Midsummer was like bananas because it was just so bright and in your face.
Yeah.
And it had the fucking, like you said, just enough where I'm like, okay, this is really weird and super arty, but enough evil for me.
Yeah.
Like it just balanced out.
That's right there. That's as far as I'm going with that shit. You know what I mean? With my horror.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's the art house horror thing definitely has become, and you know what? It's just like music and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, horror is such a broad brush, and over the time that this stuff goes on, there's going to be different elements and styles, and this is another one that's, you know, like the slasher was whatever, and but it's not really horror to me at all. Like the Lighthouse, there's no, and I don't want to get hung up on the label, but I find it, or the witch, very loosely in the family of it. Even I don't know. For me,
I think it's just people who find that time fascinating, that like the witchcraft stuff, people that buy into that stuff, which I just don't care for. They're gonna gravitate towards that. To me, it's just it just wasn't for me. And you want to talk about not watching a trailer? I don't remember watching a trailer for The Witch. I remember my friend Chris, shout out to the Films on Tap podcast, being like, "Let's go see The Witch." And I was like, fuck it. It's rated R and it's a brand new horror movie. Let's go do it. Mm-hmm. And we fucking sat there. And
at what point? How long did it take you to start thinking to yourself,
man.
Wow, I'm in the presence of some shit right
here? Probably about like the 40-minute mark.
Okay.
I was just like,
this was a mistake.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I'm like, nothing's really happening. Like, it started off with the baby being stolen. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This girl's kind of weird looking with her wide eyes apart and shit. And man, I'll never forget the end of the movie, man. As soon as the credits fucking popped on, the dude sitting in front of us just gets up. He's like, this was the worst fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. And that broke the ice because everyone in the theater laughed. But it's how I felt, you know, watching Uncut Gems. Like, we were like, this was so great. And everyone was just like, that was fucking terrible, you know?
Those the art house, for lack of a better term or whatever, that you're always going to have that love it or hate it kind of thing. And I don't know. I was around a lot of people in film school that we watched some shit that I'm just like, man, that wasn't good. Like, but they're determined to take the angle that there's, and like overanalyze it and draw things out of the film that no one's gonna fucking pick up on, or like you're finding what you're looking for to justify this or that. You've decided you're gonna like it, you know. And again, it's a film; it's all open to interpretation. But I think sometimes people fall over themselves to find meaning in nothing.
Speaking of that, so a movie you had in your top 5, which I didn't get a chance to watch till after, which was Under the Silver Lake.
Yeah.
That is playing to exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw that movie, I watched it with Karen, my girlfriend. She fucking hated it.
Yeah.
I fucking finished watching it, and I was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. And she was like, what are you talking about? She's like, nothing made sense. And I'm like, yes, kind of, sort of. I'm like, I've never seen a movie that meant so much yet so little.
Yeah.
And for like 2 weeks after watching Under the Silver Lake, I'm like watching videos explaining it and all these angles. And it was seriously like The Big Lebowski meets Alice in Wonderland. That's completely what it was. Like, this guy, it was just such a bizarre movie. Yeah. And there's like threads and all these like communities online looking for meaning from this movie,
right?
Which for the most part almost just doesn't have a meaning. It's like life and like some of
the life.
Yeah, some of those things seem like dream sequences. Like when he's talking to the girl and they're like walking by the water and he's in his pajamas.
Yeah,
you're like, this doesn't make sense because you're in your pajamas and then you jump in the water and then this girl gets shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just like nothing. At that point, I'm like, he has to be dreaming. a lot of this stuff.
Totally. And I didn't mean that, like, I do not like to analyze films or you know, I don't need everything like presented right to me. I am not that guy. I do appreciate having to, you know, things that are open for interpretation, but films like that, you got to give me something, like something linear, a little bit to.
So what is it about Under the Silver Lake that you like then? I had a hard time explaining because a lot of people, somebody like Jerry Smith loves it.
See, the thing
and
is,
he doesn't love anything with a plot.
I can't. You know, I can't tell you exactly what it meant, but there's sometimes a movie, it just is, like, I think I mentioned on the show, I love how, you know, it's a film that couldn't be shot anywhere but Los Angeles.
Yes.
Los Angeles is a character in the film.
It is.
And it goes into this night in these places that it's just, I don't know. I can't break down the meaning of it or anything like that, but I was invested in the character. I was invested in it. So even it doesn't have to be completely linear. It can have the vagueness or whatever, but it just can't go into the territory of boredom for me. And that's what, like,
that's it.
I was interested in the characters.
The movie was never boring.
I liked the great soundtrack.
Great soundtrack.
You know what I mean? So there was stuff there for me. So, like, even if it doesn't make perfect sense for me,
it was almost like vignettes
to have. Yeah, perfect example.
Yeah,
and it gave me enough that, like, I could follow, but still left a lot open for interpretation. I guess
so much.
It's a very fine line for me, I guess, where you go over this arty farty. I have this, like, Mendoza arty farty line that you've gone too far.
Yeah,
I'm out. That's what I did. And the Lighthouse, and then I was on 1.5 speed on the PlayStation just to see, all right, who fucking dies.
And that's the thing with you know, certain movies where you know, some, like, I get. When that's one of those movies that I could tell people I like, and if they tell me they hate it, I'm like, I get it.
100%.
I really get why you would hate it, but it just worked for me because it was never boring. Stylistically, to go from It Follows to that, I think Under the Silver Lake was one of the most ambitious movies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I'll even tell people, I'm like, listen, I don't think you're going to like this. I liked it a lot. So if you watch it and you come back to, you know, I told you. I didn't think you were going to like it.
Yeah.
You know, which I get it.
And Karen hated it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Did you open up a letterbox?
I have an account.
You did?
I haven't been active yet.
Okay. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like whatever nonsense you say on Facebook, but it's geared towards a community. And same thing, you follow people and you see what they rate whatever movie, you know, like if I watch Prom Night, I'm going to go on there and be like, you know what I just recently watched?
Do you have to write a review?
No.
Because I can't do that.
No.
That's a lot of work.
You could do the ratings, the star rating. You don't even have to rate it.
Right.
You could just document what you've seen. I saw Tenebrae.
Which one?
Dario Argento's Tenebrae.
I'm not a big Argento
Neither
guy.
am I.
Yeah.
That's what I tried to explain to people. And
I actually don't like Argento, but I'll try all his films before I'm probably done with it.
Okay, Tenebrae was awesome.
Yeah,
it was really good. Very smart
horror
story.
Or like a giallo, like.
I mean, it was giallo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys with gloves on and.
Yes.
Nice.
So this guy writes a book. And he's traveling to Italy to go promote it, and somebody is a fan, and they start killing. I guess doing whatever's in the book, and it's like a murder mystery.
Maybe I did see that.
It's really good. It's got a great like last act for sure. Like the beginning is just all. You know, to watch those movies now in 2020, you have to take into consideration like how, you know, sometimes the dialogue is kind of funny and the dubbing and stuff.
Sure.
You know, John Saxon's in it. He's great.
I think I did see that.
Yeah.
I think I did see this.
So it's fun, you know. Now I have a place that I could log everything that I've seen, whether it's old or new. And I definitely go for the rating stuff. I like rating certain things.
I rate everything I watch on IMDb for the pure reason of, like, sometimes I watch shit and I'm like, did I see this shit?
Yeah.
And then I can look up and like, oh yeah, I rated that. I won't waste my time. But
yeah,
I gotta fuck with Letterboxd then.
It's good.
Yeah.
You see, just everyone there, and you get to see what they think of certain movies. It's a cool cinephile thing for sure.
Okay.
Totally recommended.
I'll fuck with it.
So speaking of movies, we did a bracket for our favorite movies of 1990.
Yes.
Very hard to pick when you really look at the movies that came out.
Yeah.
Like, what a fucking year.
Good year.
Even the records. I don't know. And, it's fun to dial the clock back 30 years, 20 years, 10 years. 30 just seemed like a good one because I knew it was like a Goodfellas year.
Yeah.
So I think...
Which we gave an honorable status to.
We
took
did.
it out because, in my opinion, the greatest movie of all time, hands down.
We gave it the Bolo Young. We just let it sit in the corner. A lot of people fucked with Edward Scissorhands. I had no idea.
I'm a big Scissorhands fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that film. I even wrote at film school, I even wrote a fucking paper on it, breaking it down, comparing it to Jean Cocteau's Blood of a Poet.
Oh, and now you're just showing off.
On you?
Yeah, Jean Cocteau.
Yeah.
My favorite porn star.
You like how I said Jean?
Jean Cocteau.
But I wrote like a paper on that movie. I'm a big Burton fan. It's got fucking my girl Winona.
Yeah.
Girl Winona.
Yeah.
Fucking Anthony Michael Hall being a bully. Alan
sure.
Arkin.
Yeah.
It's fucking loaded, man.
Yeah, Winona did her thing right there. That was like Heather's.
Blonde wig I wasn't feeling, but I was
No,
all
me
right,
neither.
though. She's a blackhead to me.
So
for life.
For their, you figure she had
Vincent Price's last movie.
She had Heather's, Scissorhands, and Beetlejuice, like all in that scene. Like that's a hard three right there.
She was killing it.
Yeah.
That's why she was the girl of a generation.
Yeah.
So
there was a lot of movies picked, and I wanted to basically focus on your 5 favorites. Go back and forth.
Sure.
All right. So in no particular order.
No particular order.
So I'm gonna do Quick Change for me.
Okay.
Was number 5.
I was happy to see that get a lot of love.
Yeah, me too. I really wanted to show it at the cinema. The thing we were doing at the Bolton Center, R.I.P. Because it's such a it's one of the best bank robbing movies ever.
Yeah.
Lots of quotable lines. Up your butt with a coconut. I would make that T-shirt in a minute. So yeah, number 5 for me, and like the cast: Randy Quaid, Gina Davis, Jason Robards, fucking Bill Murray, Red Foreman played Mr. Lambino.
Yep,
Lambino is king. Great movie. Oh, and fucking Bluff Toomey, the fucking Tony Shalhoub.
Oh yeah,
when he was in the cab driving, and I always loved it. I'm watching it, and he's like, "What I do?" And they're just like, "Oh, the airport." He's like, "Oh, okay." And then he asks again, and they're just like, "What the fuck?" So good. So that's for me.
I'll shout out Jacob's Ladder.
Okay.
Very surreal, dreamlike horror, like in a way I had never seen before when it came out, or seen very little of that style, almost like David Lynch-esque, you know what I mean? Kind of psychological horror. I still those fucking things in the subway car and shit like that to this day, shaking back and forth.
Yeah,
the horrific images, but original film.
I just watched Wounds on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that movie?
No.
It felt like Jacob's Ladder because it's you're like almost trapped up in a nightmare,
right?
But you don't know you are, or like it's really effective, man.
Yeah. Did you see the remake?
No,
I didn't.
I just had
I was just curious if anybody has, because I don't remember talking to anyone that
no one
fucked
with
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
probably terrible. I was just curious how terrible.
I think for us, we're going to remember that, and I get why they remake stuff because they want like a newer generation to be like, oh, this is cool. Like if you're 20 and you're going to watch that might be your new Jacob's Ladder.
I get why they make it, and I get why they suck. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you got?
Number 4 would be State of Grace.
Oh, yeah. That's another underseen movie.
Great cast. Ed Harris, Gary Oldman, Sean Penn, Neighborhood, like all the Irish gang, like the like kind of like a Westies type thing.
Right.
Great ending. Lots of violence. Good crime year for 1990.
My next pick I'm going to give a shout out to Frankenhooker.
Okay.
Because it was one of my early horror films that I remember seeing.
Who could forget that cover?
And that VHS box.
Yeah.
But it was just so batshit crazy fun. Me and my friends watched it like 1 billion times when it came out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was so absurd in that fucking Trauma Studios kind of way.
Yeah.
But it just, we rewatched it 1 million times. Not a cinematic masterpiece, but hilarious.
For sure. Yeah. Shout out to Frank Henenlotter.
Yeah.
So for me, I will go for number 3 in no particular order, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Would be My Blue Heaven.
Yeah.
Now that movie we did get a chance to show
Right.
At Cinema Arts Center. Everything is fucking quotable. Just Rick Moranis, Steve Martin, fucking you could melt all the stuff. Like, goddamn, what a funny movie that still holds up. You have almost like the perfect, switch from Goodfellas to that, where it's like you're dealing with the same things, but you did it in such a funny way. You know, it's like you have this mobster and, now he's in the witness protection program and he's basically still trying to do his thing.
Yeah.
And it leaves it open for so many funny situations.
I got to mention Eddie Scissorhands.
Eddie Scissorhands. Shout out.
For all the reasons we said before. That it was right in my wheelhouse when it came out. I was all about it. And it's just, it's a fairy tale come to life, but there's a lot of subtext to it. And the scenery, the suburban neighborhood where everybody leaves at the same time and comes home at the same time, and you get the big ominous castle up there, and it just, like I said before, Vincent Price's last movie, a really sweet scene, and great Danny Elfman soundtrack. It's great. It's Tim Burton in his prime.
Yeah, prime for sure. I'm going to mention a movie, I'm sure we both have, we're going to save the best for last, but for me, I'm going to say King of New York. Mm-hmm. Today, I got a chance to listen to a podcast called The Rewatchables. First time I ever heard it, and Quentin Tarantino was on, and he was just gushing about the topic was King of New York. Mm-hmm. So, man, he went into so much detail about the movie, Abel Ferrara, and all this other stuff, how he was originally going to cast. He wanted to cast Lawrence Fishburne as fucking Samuel L. Jackson's character in Pulp Fiction. A lot of cool stuff. A lot of great breakdown of King of New York. I remember watching the VHS tape. I didn't know what it was because it was such a random movie. It wasn't really promoted. It was just something that you just found. It was just fucking drugs, Abel Ferrara, New York, grimy. Christopher Walken, like hip hop, like Schooly D on
hip hop
on
references up the ass.
Yeah,
after that movie.
After the movie,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Like Biggie, the Black Frank White. Yeah, it was just like one of those movies that rappers found later on. King of New York, time. For sure.
Legend. There's so many things I had mentioned for shout outs, but I guess I'll mention Misery.
Okay. Good one.
Stephen King, there's a lot of hit or misses with his adaptations, but this was a clear hit. Kathy Bates was outstanding, obviously. Next level performance. Kind of put her on the map, right?
I think so.
And Jimmy Caan was great, and that famous scene, with that fucking hammer and that ankle.
Well,
audible groans in the theater when that went down.
Now it's a GIF.
Yeah.
You can watch.
Understandably, over and over and over again. But just great dialogue. Like almost it could be a play. It's minimal. It's 2 characters essentially.
That's it. And
playing off each other.
It's so hard to make a movie. Even then, I remember seeing it in the theater, so I was 12. To make a movie entertaining that is 2 characters in like this one setting.
Yeah.
But man, was it great. Like It was just fucking tense and just way down.
The dialogue's got to pop and the performances got to pop. Otherwise,
which it did.
Yeah.
So we both have our number 1 for sure, which will be Goodfellas.
Right.
I
thought it was going to be House Party, but
There's a few we could have mentioned, but I just knew everyone was going to pick Goodfellas because it's like 30 years later, it's still the bar.
Yeah, it's shot perfectly. Performance are ridiculous. You know, I love mob movies to begin with, so it's right there. But I mean, they teach film classes on this, on how Scorsese shot this. The scene at the Copa where they follow them in with the one camera shot.
Yep,
that was as influential as any shot in history. I mean, like Favreau, and when he made Swingers, he said he did that. I think when they went to the party scene or something like that, he was copping that fucking. A lot of people have copped that style. You know, not that he invented the long take or anything like that, but the way he did it, you know.
That was it. That was just the bar. That was just probably the best mob. Actually, definitely the best mob movie. And
quotable as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I still say, like, I guarantee you, you know, your girl's name is Karen, that you sometimes you can't help yourself.
Well, I had to, you know, show her the movie for the first time, I think last year, just so she can get that reference. And then from that moment on, you know.
I like to do Karen cursing out Janice Rossi.
Yes. Totally.
Janice Rossi
is a whore.
Living in 3R. Is this the super? Get your own damn man.
The other day, Karen flushed all our cocaine down the toilet, and I asked her why she did that.
Why'd you do that?
Yeah.
You have to say it like that.
She didn't really understand.
I mean, God.
So, another thing I wanted to talk about real quick.
Sure.
Smashing Pumpkins and Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think
so. I think that's great. I think that's a good switch, you know? It's giving you something like a evening of different music, you know what I mean?
Yes. Now, I think you and I look at it on a different level because we actually like different shit.
That's definitely a key.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I just feel like most people who like Guns N' Roses probably hate Smashing Pumpkins.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
I think it's going to be such a small percentage of people. But then again, so like both those bands are still doing their reunion runs. And, you know, so now that they've been doing the reunion thing for like probably like 2-3 years, probably 2 years apiece.
All right.
You know, when you come back around, you need to spicing up the deal.
Yeah.
Before Guns N' Roses could just, you know, add on some like nobody young band. Now it's like, okay, now I got to spend this amount of money. What else are you going to give me?
I think also, too, with the nostalgia tour like this, after so much time has passed since either band's heyday, I think you're going to get a little bit less of the people that hate Smashing Pumpkins but like Guns N' Roses that might just want an evening out hearing music of their youth in general.
Yeah. That
it's not going to be as vehemently like anti-Pumpkins or something, whereas if they toured in like 1990 together or something, it would be like different camps, you know?
Different camps, especially since I'm sure like Billy Corgan would have hated Axl. Now
100%.
these are two people that I guarantee you can never be in the same room at the same time.
The divas, both of them, man.
They just
legendary
like,
divas.
They just can't. There's no way in hell. I think there's going to be somebody on that tour whose job specifically is to make sure that those two are never in the same room.
I'm pretty sure Axl just started being in the same room as like Duff.
I know.
Recently. Like, I've seen pictures of him smiling on stage. And I think like at this point, after they've been back together for like 2 years or whatever, like he can say hello to Slash in the hallway. Yeah. You know, so the fact bringing Corgan into that element, it's like, I
can't even comprehend. And another thing with Guns N' Roses, when you have such little material and you play for so long, their sets are like 3 hours long. So basically, all you're doing is playing every song you ever wrote. Like at this point, like how many times do you need to see that same set list?
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do? Play Welcome to the Jungle in the middle instead of first?
Yeah, just switch the order.
Yeah.
Maybe a cover. A couple different covers you throw in there or something. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
But, not a huge body of work. Not a huge good body of work either, in my opinion. No. I'm not a huge lover of the Use Your Illusion. I could take both of them and put it together a nice album, you know?
Barely.
But, you know,
like barely.
Yeah, it's Appetite and a few songs on Lies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But they really stretched that into some to a long show.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. They are Guns N' Roses appeal to people who don't even like music. You know? Like some people, like when people are like, Guns N' Roses is my favorite band, I'm thinking like, that's impossible.
You hate music.
That's impossible. There's
and
no,
you love Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. And I love exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that you can't tell me based on one record and two really okay records.
The only time it was okay for Guns N' Roses to be your favorite band in the world is when
93.
Appetite just came out.
Or like 93.
And the future was limitless. Yeah. Like, what could this band go on to do? It's amazing. It's endless possibilities.
Yeah.
And now, years later, as we've seen what they accomplished, overall as a body of work, and it wasn't that much.
No, it wasn't.
They can't still be your favorite band.
They can't still be your favorite band.
Right.
There's got to be somebody out there with two good records as opposed to one.
Appetite could be your favorite album of all time, but they can't be your favorite band.
Yeah. Like, what if a band has two good records? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of one.
Right.
You're telling me that Guns N' Roses is still your favorite band?
Right.
Like, it's impossible. They made one great record in 1987, and we're still talking about them in 2020.
Yeah. Well, it does happen sometimes. Look at the Sex Pistols.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They literally
made one album.
They didn't even like make other albums that weren't as good. They just made one album. But, I mean, its impact is undeniable for for a million reasons.
And I like what you said on Facebook. You said it's perfect because Axl is becoming less of a douche and Billy Corgan's becoming more of a douche.
They might meet at this perfect area.
Yeah.
The circles might.
Yeah, it might
maybe
be
that's how this happened.
I know. Because they like the Pumpkins. You never knew like how not of this earth Billy Corgan was till he sits down and like he's almost angry that he's not popular anymore.
He really, he is.
He is,
and I feel like he's got a chip on his shoulder, like that's humongous. For he never feels acknowledged enough.
Yeah,
never feels like he gets his place in songwriting, and he's a fucking brilliant songwriter.
Brilliant.
I mean, amazing songwriter. Yeah. But yeah, he's an odd motherfucker, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and
once he got involved with wrestling, I was like, wow, this guy's really weird.
It just
nothing against my friends that are into wrestling, but Billy Corgan never struck me as like.
Yeah, I mean, he's really into wrestling.
I thought like art rock guy.
Yeah.
Like Lou Reed, like all of a sudden coming out with like Lou Albano, like back if that happened. Like, that's how like I compare that to.
Yeah, I mean, there's Rick Jimenez that likes wrestling, and then there's Billy Corgan right under him. Those two are like the guys that like wrestling the most ever.
But like I would figure Rick's a jack dude. He's fucking,
Yeah, you're right.
All man.
Yeah, he
you know
is.
what I'm saying? Like I get that shit.
Yeah.
Billy Corgan, I was like, wow, really?
Yeah, Billy Corgan definitely looks like.
But for some reason, I don't. Him as like Smashing Pumpkins being reunited to me, it's like kind of like, well, it's the Billy Corgan show, without James and.
James is there.
Is he? I thought he wasn't involved.
No, James is there.
I know Darcy isn't.
Eha and Jimmy Chamberlain are both there.
Oh,
Darcy,
well, okay, 3/4, and that qualifies.
Well, and the thing is, he wanted Darcy, but Darcy seems to be kind of like probably hard to deal with. Would I imagine?
I heard some stories come out and like why it went south.
And she posted their fucking conversation, like her text she sent whatever publication their text conversations.
Yes,
and that's like the first sign where you're like, if you want to really make shit right, you're gonna fucking give like I don't know stereo gum or fucking some shit like like the conversation. It's like nah, like this is somebody you were in a band with, like you work this shit out.
I would have liked to seen her.
Me too.
At the helm. It's just something. That looks right to me.
Yes. Yeah. She was, she was the shit.
Yeah.
And another band that had a double album, and that was a really good double album.
Oh, fuck yeah.
100%. But that's gonna be good. And then the other tour that people are beating their cocks over that went on sale today, Rage Against the Machine and Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I'm interested.
Yeah.
I don't know 100% if I'm going to get there. Maybe. It's a Monday and it's Tuesday night. Sometimes it's a little rough. Busy time of year for me. Only for that reason that possible might be hard for me to go. But I'd love Rage Against the Machine. To me, I'm not a super fan.
Sure.
But they're pretty much the only, with the exception of Public Enemy and Anthrax Bring the Noise crossover, Rage Against the Machine might be the only band I ever liked that combine rap and metal to a listenable format. I usually hate when I hear rappers over rock, and it just
I think it's
I don't know.
The Zach's thing is like he came from hardcore roots, so his vocal approach is like very aggressive, beats you over the head. The band plays very steady. Like the rhythm section might as well be in Sabbath, because that's kind of how they're playing.
Sure.
And Tom Morello is just doing weird shit on the guitar, very unconventional stuff.
Right.
And
sounds like a record scratch.
They have a formula.
Right.
And their formula is very repetitive stuff that, the lyrics are very, in your face. And then it gets to this point where it's just, they're like a stadium band before they were even a band. Like they just, this is what they do. But like you, like I don't care. Like
I actually would be more excited to see Run the Jewels.
Me too.
but
I
haven't seen them before either. That factors in. I had the privilege to see Rage on Lollapalooza when the album broke, the first one.
Okay.
And when they were first starting to blow and shit like that. So I feel very blessed for that. It's one of those shows that if I go,
#blessed.
I'm sure I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah.
And if I don't go, I'm not going to feel bad about it.
That's how I feel. Like
I mean?
I've seen Run the Jewels a whole bunch of times, and I'll see them at a place that isn't fucking MSG.
Yeah.
If I make it to see Rage, cool. If not, I saw them the last time at Rock the Bells.
Oh, and I did see them with the Wu-Tang Clan. I did see them then too.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
But I saw them at Rock the Bells just, maybe like 10 years ago.
Right.
And it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where if a week before the show someone's like, "Oh, I have an extra ticket,"
I'll go.
I'll be like, "Yeah, I'll go."
Right.
But I can't say that I'm dying to see
100%.
Rage. And once again, a band that hasn't put out a studio record since 1999.
Yeah.
That could still do this stuff. So nostalgia is fucking amazing.
Nostalgia is amazing. Plus the political climate that we're in now, it seems like it makes sense.
Yeah, no, it
play
completely
shows like
makes
this.
sense.
It's just, I get it. Like, and I'm just the same way as you. Like somebody, I got a ticket. Fuck it, I'll go.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with that shit.
It completely makes sense, and the hangover that people have now that they're so politically divided and amped when they listen to Rage Against the Machine. Like, there's some people that are just so angry that's what those lyrics meant this whole time. They're like denouncing Rage Against the Machine now, It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Killing in the Name?
I'll consider going to that. We'll see.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of the other tour I might go at the Deftones Gojira.
Yeah.
That got announced. That's
Metallica
pretty solid.
Megadeth and Lamb of God.
Megadeth and Lamb of God, which I will not go to. I've seen those bands so many fucking times.
Was Chris Adler just going to play with
I don't even know if he's playing with them anymore.
He's not playing with Lamb of God.
No.
He's playing with Megadeth?
No, he's not in Megadeth either. They got the drummer from Soilwork. After Adler cut the album with them, I don't think they toured. I don't know what the story was, or they didn't tour much, and then they got another drummer because it's a revolving door of that band.
Yeah.
But I have no interest in that, to fucking see that shit. I'm going to see Overkill this weekend at Mulcahy's.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
With Ludacris. That should be fun.
It's a pretty vintage lineup.
Yeah, it's the Sundance series they're doing. I think they're doing this, and they're doing Y&T and
Zebra
and Black and Blue, or was it that who
Zebra,
it was?
yeah.
Zebra.
Yo, Zebra,
not going to that one.
Zebra's heavy on Long Island.
Yeah, people
heavyweights.
The only place people fuck with.
People fuck with Zebra heavy.
It's like they never stop.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see Possessed at
AMH
in March, and I've never got to see them. They were one of my favorite bands growing up. They broke up before I could go, and so I'm super psyched about that. But
you could mistakenly stage potato there. That's how tiny it is.
Oh, yeah. Well, we saw Mayhem there, which I still can't believe.
No, different place.
Oh, okay.
This place is even smaller.
Really?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Possess is playing Amityville Music Hall, right?
That was where Mayhem was, wasn't it?
No. Revolutions is where it's down the block.
Shit.
Different venues.
It's smaller than that place?
Yes.
Wow.
For sure.
That's
like
crazy.
we play there.
Man.
So.
But there's a lot of stuff I'm interested in.
Cool. So the two bands that we mentioned, Rage headlining and Guns N' Roses, both came out with arguably their best work right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Today is the 50th anniversary of the Black Sabbath record. So you and I were talking about to close off the show. Let's talk about our favorite debut albums. The angle that I approached it from, which is probably going to be different from you, was I picked groups that came out hot from the gate and never matched this debut album. So that way I was able to kind of like...
That's smart. You gave a lot better thought than I did. My approach was I wrote down a shitload of more bands than I can mention.
Yeah.
And then think about how I'm going to narrow this down. And
we'll save it for the
Patreon.
Patreon.
I left some that, that were obvious choices for me off so I could give a couple of mentions to some other shit. But anyway.
Okay, yeah. So we'll do 5 apiece. We'll go back and forth. Like I said, my criteria, I mean, it's debut, but mine is people, groups that just came in and arguably you could say that they never topped said debut album.
Okay, my criteria, not exactly there, but they're just as far as they had some other good shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But just the debuts just changed the game, a little bit, you know what I mean? But I don't have them exact order, but these, 5.
Yeah, I'm going to mention no order exactly.
Right.
So my number 5, which I'm just numbering them, is Block Party Silent Alarm. I remember this was like 2004, 2005. Like a lot of these, newer bands were coming out and they were fucking dropping these records. And man, some of them. Like you would go read like Rolling Stone magazine and a lot of these bands were getting fucking critics like jerking off on them. This record in particular, I remember listening to and thinking, this record deserves every bit of your cum for sure. Because it just delivered. Every song on this album, Silent Alarm, was fucking fantastic. The drumming, the singer sounded like Robert Smith, but the band played like a little faster. Unbelievable. I could still listen to Silent Alarm. They went on to make other records. The second record was good, just not as good as the first. And then the third, I think it was called Intimacy. I'd have to look, but it just, I kept thinking like it was a steady decline as far as the material. Then they, swap members and all this other shit. But man, debut album, one of my favorite debut albums, and definitely I think where they peaked.
I'm not familiar with them. I mean,
really?
I know the band, but I never listened to them.
You would love that album.
Yeah?
It sounds like Robert Smith. It's so fucking good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll give it a listen, man. See, now I'm thinking about your criteria. I'm like, you know what? I got a couple of things that fit it that way. And I'll go with, I'm going to mention Interpol, Turn on the Bright Lights.
Okay.
What's that?
Oh, no, I was going to say, I think their second album is Better for God.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it just, it came out at a perfect time and, in New York. But what year? What that came out in? Right after it came out after
2001.
Right, it came out post 9/11. Right.
Okay.
So, but it just there's so many beautiful songs on there. The songwriting's perfection. A lot of like Lou Reed-ish kind of elements to it. Velvets. It was just a great New York rock record for me. And,
very haunting,
yeah.
the guitar work. I know that they were big U2 fans. And
you like the second album better than that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a sophomore slump.
Really?
Yeah, for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never liked anything else they did, actually. But I love this record.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great record. It's a neck and neck thing, but I think I think there were better singles. Like, there were catchier songs on the second record. But they really cool record for sure. I'm going down the list here. Only Built for Cuban Links, Raekwon. This is my favorite Wu-Tang solo release.
Wow.
It always goes between this and Iron Man Ghostface Killah. But man, when this Only Built for Cuban Links record came out, it was just everything about it was fucking perfect. The cover had like the CD in the back had fucking Raekwon cooking up crack and all this other shit.
It was a drug dealer anthems.
Oh, it was for sure.
Everybody had that purple tape.
He never topped this album because the bar was set too high, and he just, I don't know, like a lot of the records that came out after were good, but I don't know, nothing topped this. And then for some reason, so what I think is funny is when hip hop artists put out like a sequel to a record, and everyone's like, oh shit, Only Built for Cuban Links too. And I'm thinking like, this isn't a movie. Like, what's the difference? It might as well be named, The Lamp or something. Like, it's just a set of songs that he's like, just because he's naming it Only Built for Cuban Links, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. That was a good record too, but man, it just this was the top of the bar, and he just never he never kept it going.
Sure.
So
let's see, keeping it with your credit, I could almost say the Wu-Tang Into the 36 Chambers in that regard too, because nothing they ever made.
It was either or for me on those two.
So I'm piggybacking there just as an honorable mention.
Although Wu-Tang Forever is pretty damn good.
It is good.
For a double album, if they would have
could have
made
been
it
an amazing
one,
single album. But there's some filler on that shit. Because there's some fucking ridiculous bangers on that.
Yeah.
Let me go with, I'm sticking with your criteria here. I'm going to say Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
She obviously did nothing.
Yeah.
Literally almost.
Yeah.
Past that.
Yeah.
But I mean, God, what a perfect production, perfect blend of soul, old soul, and funk and hip hop, new hip hop, like blended seamlessly, perfectly.
Perfect.
Her voice.
Yep.
She could rhyme and
sing.
her voice was beautiful.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It was perfect talent, showcase of her talents. And,
like from the score to do that, like if that's your musical legacy, that's probably why she didn't do anything again. It's just like she went Sex Pistols.
She went Sex Pistols. Yeah.
Yeah. But, she's just like, I'm just gonna give birth and be late to shows.
Exactly.
That's about it.
Yeah. I think she's been popping up here and there lately, right? But she had another bad no show or some shit not long ago. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know until like you sit and talk to someone what the deal is.
Yeah,
because I don't know. Maybe she's going through personal things. Maybe it's one of those things where she feels like maybe it's a self-esteem thing. Maybe it's a mental thing where it's like, okay,
she's on some like Chappelle shit when he fucking quit the show. Like, she's like, whatever happened? Like, what? And then Chappelle ended up coming back like on fire. Yeah. Who knows?
Maybe she'll come back like way muscular, like he did.
I still don't like muscular Dave. I like
Me
him better
neither.
like a skinny motherfucker.
It's like fucking Carrot Top.
You don't look. You're not as funny when you're in good shape.
No, when you're muscular, telling jokes that you used to tell, it's like you're like, damn, you're almost intimidating.
You got to be skinny, regular guy, or fat.
Yeah.
But you can't like look good.
No. You can't be a millionaire and have shoulders.
No one wants to laugh at you.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's like, oh, fuck this guy.
Fuck this dude.
So going down the list here, so this was a little tough. Arctic Monkeys, their debut album. Now, later on, they put out a record called AM, which was really good, but nothing beat the first record. So from beginning to end, I couldn't believe it. Once again, back in the day of magazines, I would read a lot about this band, and the day that I bought the actual CD and I listened to it, I would listen to the first song. I'm like, oh, that's really good. Second song, I'm like, wow, that's really good. Third song, I'm like, wow, this is fucking catchy and really well written, and they were like young kids. And then by the time I got to the last song, like every song on the album was not only good, it was like exceptionally good. Still one of the best debut albums I've ever heard in my life.
Really?
So good.
I don't know them either.
Really?
Yeah.
Yo, it's fucking just catchy, very garage rockish on this. Like later on, they've evolved and started working with Josh Homme on some stuff. So they did have a lot of like Queens of the Stone Age type stuff later on. But this debut record, super raw, and I think it some may argue and not say it's their best record, but to me, it's the one that I could listen to from beginning to end and just be like, wow, this is phenomenal shit. So that's me.
This would be my third choice under the same criteria. I would say the Stone Roses debut album. They never did anything. Well, some people defend the second record a little bit, but it was clearly nowhere near. It didn't have the songs I Want to Be Adored and Fool's Gold, and there's just so many good. Every cut on it is good, and it just exemplified that Manchester sound, where England was fucking with the rave culture, but they were a band too, and they kind of had a foot in both camps. People would go and dance at their shows just like they were going. They just waddled that line. Same way the Happy Mondays, and there's a whole bunch of bands from that time, and Spiral
Soup
Carpets,
Dragons,
all that shit. But Stone
shout
Roses,
out to Divine Things.
Yeah, Stone Roses though, that I Want to Be Adored is one of my favorite songs of all time by anybody, and it's a masterful debut album, and they clearly shot their wad.
Yeah,
there's a great documentary about them when they got back together. I want to say Made of Stone, it's called.
Okay.
That's on Amazon when they got back together and they done some shows or whatnot.
Amazon has the most random music docs ever.
I know, I love it.
Like you just sit there, and some of the production value is like you and I just sitting here.
There's some bad. You got to wade through some shit to get this from gems. Like usually I find it's like, there'll be like a lot of hip hop documentaries before that Wu-Tang four-parter.
Okay.
And
there was another one.
Rappaport's Tribe Called Quest.
Sure.
The shit. Hip-hop documentaries were awful on bands. They're like, they just got together with some dudes on the block that knew them back in the day. Are like, yo, this was RZA's barber when he was like 8 years old. I remember,
yes.
And they're all telling the story. I'm like, Raekwon worked at this bodega for 5 minutes or something. They're going to talk to his boss, and they're just telling stories. They don't have the right. The key is when you start realizing, I haven't heard one song by the band this movie's about. So they didn't even get the music licensing. Yeah. This is not going to be good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amazon's good for that.
But you can find some gems in the rough though on there.
You got to keep just digging. Sometimes I fucking. The beauty and worst part about having so much at your feet. Like if I go to Tubi TV, which is a really good free app. Yeah,
I just was reading about that. Jerry posted.
Oh, it's
about it.
So good. There's so much stuff on there. A lot of stuff that you've already seen.
Right.
So it's just a good place to keep a library.
Sure.
But sometimes I go there and there's so much stuff that I'm like, I can't believe they have this, that I just keep swiping. And I'm like, oh my God, they have this. Oh my God, for 30 minutes. And by the time I'm done, I'm like, I don't even want to watch anything. I'm like, all right, just making sure it's still there.
It's no different when you go back to the record store back in the day and you're flipping through the crates and oh, check it out. It was just fun to go through it.
I'm like, all right.
I don't have any money though. I ain't getting shit today.
Yo, you going to buy some shit or what?
You'll buy a cassette so at least we can listen in the car.
All right. So continuing with my list, definitely the two that I have are perfect for my criteria. One of them being Illmatic by Nas.
That was going to be my next two.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then we might have the same top two then.
Doubt it.
Okay.
Because the last one don't fit the criteria for me, but go ahead.
So, man, right out of the gate, the producers on this, Pete Rock to Q-Tip to Premier, everything about it, just, you see this young kid, 1994, puts out this record, you hear the train and the Genesis rolling by, and then New York State of Mind drops it. To this day, you put on New York State of, it just sounds fresh.
It does.
You hear it and the storytelling and the shit, that record was so that track, that whole album is one of the most New York, how it felt Yeah.
Right. You listen to it now, it takes you right back there.
Yeah, it's fucking killer. So
train rides and backpacks and fucking graffiti books and your fucking backpack or whatever the fuck, it takes you right back there.
Yeah. So me.
And you know what I like about it too? Fucking tight. There's no fucking skits on
9 songs.
Boom. You know?
10.
Short and to the point without a filler, a second of filler on the bunch. You know what I mean?
I like records that are 10 songs long.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good amount, especially now. You know, if you're going to put out music, I think 10 is just a good number.
10 is a good number. I like the EP too.
Yeah.
Put out 5 fucking new songs, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Like what Mayhem Loren, like the last thing you put out, 4 songs.
Yeah.
Bang. There you go.
Yeah.
Playing Dead, 4 songs.
There you go, man. All right, so you took my new Illmatic. So I'm off the criteria now. I'm out of the criteria.
All right.
So I'm just going to mention a killer. Like I said, I left off some obvious ones. Pretty Hate Machine, the first Ramones, Kill 'Em All, and stuff like that. So I am going to mention my next one. I'm going to give it to. This is a combination. Possessed, 7 Churches, and Death Scream Bloody Gore. And the reason I grouped them together is because there were always an argument on which one was the first death metal record. It's irrelevant because they both came out very much around the similar time. But as far as the impact and of what they had on extreme genres and pushing the envelope, and they were something I had never heard before. When I got both those, I still have those records at home. It just took things to a next level, lyrically, gory, into the horror wheelhouse, and their influence on where, especially on years later, not even just immediately, but a lot of the extreme bands and how popular, you know, like black metal got, which is a weird thing to say, but and death metal, it's just the impact that they had were outstanding because they straddled the line of death, of black, of thrash, of everything. I think it was next level. So, like I said, that didn't meet my criteria of that.
Yeah.
They both did. Death went on to some amazing progressive work and shit. Possessed had a short career.
Yeah.
But I had to give him some love.
For sure. So the last debut album on my list, obviously, is going to be Appetite for Destruction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, arguably the greatest debut album of all time. You could have that discussion for sure.
Yep.
And boy, like, as fast as they, you know, jumped up into the stars, they disintegrated.
They weren't built to last.
They were not built to last.
Not living like that.
Yeah, they were just, they went up like a fucking bomb. That's it. You know, 12 songs, everything about it, you know, Maybe Anything Goes is always like kind of like the one that's like, all right, this is all right, you know. That's
the weakest of the batch, and that's not,
it's not a weak
meaning
song.
It's a bad song.
Yeah.
It's just comparatively to some just
to everything
massive
else.
Anthems that they had, you know.
Yep. And you know, that's it. Like when you think of debut albums that, you know, bands that shot their fucking load early, that is the poster child. It's both the criteria of like greatest debut record and one that just, you know, said everything that they had to say right off the bat. So
yeah. I got to shout out Van Halen 1 because that was a game changer. Not that I was like, you know, remember it coming out. I'm not that old, you know. But as far as the total package of the front man and the guitar whiz, everybody proficient at their instrument, the songs are there, and nobody quite sounded like, nobody wrapped it all up in that kind of a package like they did. They were shot out of a cannon when they came out, so I had to give that some love.
Yeah, it's amazing how I just never got into Van Halen.
I just like the first 6. But
that's still a good run.
Yeah, you know, they were responsible for me falling in love with music,
yeah.
Bottom line. You know, and I wanted to play like Eddie and talk like Dave when I was a little kid, you know.
Definitely not now. You don't want to talk like
Dave. I
Dave
don't want to talk like Dave now. I wanted to talk like Dave. I wanted to have that kind of rap.
Yeah.
That kind of confidence when I fucking swag it in, because that motherfucker's all confidence.
Yeah.
He walks in a room and it's like, hey, for better or for worse.
Package first.
But yeah, no, not now.
Yeah, not
I
now.
actually had to, unclick follow on his podcast because on Spotify, you follow certain ones.
Yeah.
And too many episodes coming out, trying to keep track of them. I'm like,
oh, really?
I love Dave, but I'm like, because Dave getting interviewed by Joe Rogan, that was a trip. But at least somebody's steering the ship.
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Have you ever listened to Dave talk by himself with nobody reining it in? Imagine that.
I can't even imagine.
Imagine
because
that.
on Rogan,
it's unlistenable.
Like when I saw the name pop up, I'm like, I'm going to listen to this. And he, like, it's like listening to like a verbal 3-card Monty. You're like, wait, what? Where are we now? And he's just like talking. It's like, yeah, man, sometimes that's just the way the lamp crackles. And sometimes in life, you just like climb out a window and you land on your left foot and you're like, ah! And you're just like, what the fuck is he talking?
But there's such a bizarre rhythm. And sometimes he comes out with some jewels. Like
sometimes you do.
Like he walks this line of like highbrow fucking intelligence in there, but he's also got his other foot has been in the gutter, partying and doing blow in the butt, off the floor, probably in the rainbow, but then going to be an EMT, then going to Amazon to go through the jungles of the Amazon, like fascinating for sure. But I get for like the Van Halen brothers perspective, like I can't be in a bed with this fucking guy. And can you imagine being locked in a room with that dude all the time?
No,
definitely not. So I get it.
Yeah, especially since the Van Halen brothers seem very irritable. So
yeah, not a good match, but all
right, Van Halen won. That's it.
Yep.
I think we covered everything that we're going to cover.
Said it all.
We said it all.
But at least we wanted to get one under our belt. We got stuff planned. We got the show you talked about earlier,
the Van Saters, the Star Wars thing, and then
the elusive Jeffro Fab.
Yeah,
he'll be back in. We'll be checking in with him from Black Label, and a bunch of stuff. Probably going to try to get some phone interviews in this year with some other people outside the Long Island area. And,
basically just to continue
talking shit about stuff we like.
Exactly.
Yeah. We wade through all the shit too to recommend stuff, so you people don't have to. We do the hard work, so you don't have to.
We watch the LIghthouse, so you don't have to.
Exactly, man.
Cool. All right.
That's it.
All right.
Peace.